Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Stage Racing Podcast. I don't even know what episode this is, to be honest. We've been on quite the hiatus. Let's just set the scene of what's been going on. Cody went on vacation, I think is where we left off last time. You was about to head to vacation, so that was the week before Watkins Glen. And right about the same time, I started my new job in education as a teacher, and so we're moving into the time of year where things were getting crazy. And I was telling you, I was like, dude, I just got so much to do. You came back from vacation, Richmond happened. We were thinking about getting together for Richmond, but it was just too crazy. And then we finally get Daytona this week, and I was like, dude, we gotta do it. We gotta do it. So, welcome back, buddy. How are you?
Man, doing good. Glad to be back on the podcast after
It is good.
couple weeks.
We've been texting some, but it's not the same as getting on here and airing out our grievances toward NASCAR, which I don't know if anyone listening here is a Seinfeld fan or not, but you're about to get a Festivus feeling from me this evening, because I'm feeling some type of way about some things that have been going on outside of the racing product over these last few weeks. But anyways, y'all have a good vacation, man?
Yeah, man, it was good. It was good, and good to get away, see some ocean and some beach, and toes in the water, whatever.
Yeah. Toes in the sand.
Yeah,
the family version.
Yeah, family version. Yeah. So, no, it was good. How's the education going?
You know, honestly, I have good classes right now, so it's hard for me to say things that some veterans might disagree with. But no, honestly, it's been good. I mean, used to work with this age group, middle school, years ago, and it's a fulfilling age group. It's a very frustrating age group from time to time. They make you want to pull what little hair I have left at times, just want to yank it out. But they're just so that age, man. I think of it like when we were that age. Like, it's just confusing, more than anything. It's just a weird time in your life. And then on top of it, these middle schoolers now have the ability to be exposed to things way sooner than they should. And I know that we were exposed to things sooner than we probably should have been, and it's even worse now. So it's just navigating that. But no, it's been fine. It's been great. It's a family legacy for me. Both my parents were in education. I tried to ignore it for long enough and should have just never ignored it to begin with. But here we are, 35 years old. We're starting a career in education, and I'll do my 30 years and be 65 and look back at this time and say, why didn't you start sooner? So anyway.
You can teach an old dog new tricks.
Apparently. But all my students are surprised when I tell them I'm 35. They say I don't look 35, and I say I appreciate that. And they mean it in a good way. But anyways, so let's recap some races. So let's start with Watkins Glen. Me personally did not actually get to watch any of Watkins Glen, but I listened to it on MRN. And MRN always makes things very interesting. We actually took the kids fishing that day. And so just kind of listened to it while we were fishing, and then listened to it on the drive back home. And so I thought, just listen to it MRN, obviously could tell that SVG was dominating. That's pretty apparent. They didn't sugarcoat any of that. But they made the action on the rest of the track seem interesting. So I didn't vote in that poll because I feel like I need to really watch it or be fully encompassed in it. But it was pretty crappy on the poll. From everybody said it was quite boring. Some of that I think is a product of this car. Some of it is also a product of SVG is that dude when it comes to, especially in this car, road course racing. So I don't know. Did you get to watch much of Watkins Glen, or were you kind of in the same boat as me? That's when y'all were at the beach.
Yeah. So that was like our first official day down there, so didn't really get to take it in. I did manage to set my fantasy lineups though, but
yeah, there you go.
didn't get to check it before stage 3, and it was so. But it wasn't that great of a race. SVG, like you said, kind of dominated, and of course MRN always does a great job of making you feel like the racing's better than it probably really is. So shout out to those guys for always doing an excellent job. But yeah, it was road course races have kind of been lackluster, man. We need to do something so SVG's not so dominant.
Yeah, I think that's something we'll talk about later. I added that to the notes, or that someone, to give you a little teaser. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That might make a difference next year in that, which that particular someone had a very interesting weekend at Watkins Glen.
To say the least.
To say the least. But yeah, so from there we went on to Richmond. Got back to Richmond. It's one and only race this year, and Richmond, to be honest, has been quite boring over the last few years. Even last year's drama, last lap drama aside, but this year Richmond was captivating. I'm texting you. I'm like, dude, this race is crazy. And I know you were busy. You tuned in a little bit late, but I'm like, man, they're we're just a few hundred laps in, and they're racing like we got 30 to go right now, which caused some carnage. But I thought Richmond was fantastic compared to what it's been.
Yeah, no, to me when I finally got to tune in, you know, Richmond, you remember, Richmond used to be the cutoff race
Mm-hmm.
for the chase, and when I was watching it, I was like, man, I was like, this feels like those races, like,
Yeah,
you know, I was like, I honestly, I kind of forgot for a moment that Daytona was the cutoff race the next, this past week. I was like, oh man, these guys are battling for playoff spot, which I mean, of course they are, but you know what I mean. And I'm
yeah,
like, man, and that's the way it sort of felt. And it was probably the best Richmond race we've had in, I don't know, 4 years.
yeah, easily.
Easily best Richmond race we've had in this gen car. Um, so, you know, I thought it was a good race all in all. It was really action packed, a lot of passing, surprisingly, some good tire wear. Um, so shout out to,
Go.
we'll get into this, but shout out to Austin Dillon for actually winning a clean race this time.
Um, I think it was a little like the tires were wearing. It was
Hmm.
apparent there was some fall off. We can do better. We can do better. The good news is it's the same tire they're bringing to Martinsville later this year, so that makes me excited as someone who hopefully plans to attend. You never know with life these days, but I do plan to be there. Um, but I think some of it too was it's usually such a track position heavy race that on the restarts, the guys know they can pick as many positions as possible on those restarts, and they were going for it. And I think that was a big reason why we got the product that we did. Um, and it made it interesting. But yeah, shout out to AD. I mean, you and I hate on him probably just as much as anybody,
Anybody.
but dude knows how to drive at Richmond. I don't get it. I don't understand it. For some drivers, just certain tracks click more than others, and that seems to be the one for him. And so, yeah, he took this one fair and square, and congrats to him, I guess. He now puts himself in the playoffs. How you feel about that is a whole another story, but
At least it was clean this time, and it doesn't have to be taken
at
away.
least
And
it was clean, and his
uh,
granddaddy didn't have to be out there lying out of his rear end for him this year to try
yeah,
to not get him kicked out, but whatever. So that brings us to this past weekend, where you and I were texting was like, yeah, Daytona, fuel mileage, not going to be interesting. I mean, I remember telling my dad, I was hanging out with dad Saturday and we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it, but I'm not really going to be dialed in until the last 10 laps just because that's how super speedways have been outside of Atlanta. Um, and then lo and behold, man, we got a really good super speedway race this past weekend. So I'll come back to the second question I had, to the first question I had for this race. But the second question was, why was this Daytona race so good? What do you think played into
gosh,
it?
I don't know, man. It was almost. They said it. I don't remember who it was during the broadcast, but somebody was like, they're letting it all hang out. That they. I mean, it wasn't no putting around saving gas. I mean, they were just pedal to the floor, like we're going
Mm-hmm.
from the drop of the green flag. And I mean, like I said, I felt like it was that way from start to finish. Um, they were aggressive the whole time. I mean, giving shots down the backstretch, just bumping guys, aggressive trying to, take their lanes when they could get them. So
They were also
it's definitely,
aggressive in moving cars out of the way that would affect teammates. Kyle Larson when he moved Eric Jones later in the race, but whatever. No race manipulation there whatsoever.
yeah,
Now that race
And
manipulation I can
Ryan
live
Priest
with
too.
compared to what they did at Martinsville last year. I can live with this type of
Don't forget,
race manipulation. But
don't
yeah,
forget about, don't forget about Ryan Priest either. They
yeah.
just, they just dumped Ryan, not dumped him, but you know what I mean. They just blew past Ryan Priest, and
Hmm.
he felt like he was going to be able to win the race, which he probably would have had a good shot as anybody had they just not left him, so Alex Bowman could make the playoff. But
Yeah. But I don't know why it was good. I think some of it is there's a lot of big name drivers that aren't in the playoffs this year. And there's a lot of money on the line for them personally and in their career to make it, and they didn't. And I think they were just laying it all out there to try to get that last spot, especially after we had the big wreck so early in the race. It then opened the door for a lot of guys because then at this point they're like, okay. I mean, you knew Reddick or Bowman one was going to get booted if we had a new winner, but at this point they're thinking, okay, we really got a good chance here. Let's see if we can go get this thing. Um, yeah, I think it just made for a good one. I don't know, do something in February so we can get this kind of a Daytona 500 and not have to worry about the fuel mileage and this and that. And figure it out, NASCAR. I don't know, change the stages around, do something. Just and I also think having 100 less miles makes a big difference too. You don't have as much time to wait, and it's harder to pass on super speedways now. You don't get the runs that you used to get. So I think being a little bit of a shorter race played into that and made it way more interesting for sure.
I felt like I saw a lot more runs this race than I did, in
Yeah.
February. I mean, especially in the last, I don't know, 20 laps. I mean, you're seeing
Well, here's
cars
the
just
question.
struggle. And,
I'm
yeah,
glad you said that because here's the question. I didn't put it on here, but I just thought of it when you said that. Think back to Atlanta, okay? Had the big wreck early in Atlanta. What did that do? Take out a lot of cars out of the field. Daytona, big wreck. What did it do? Took a lot of cars out of the field. Are we starting to learn now that, hey, maybe these cars aren't so bad when there's not 36 of them stacked up? I mean, it's a legitimate question. No, I'm not
yeah,
advocating to, get rid of a bunch of
yeah.
cars, but I think we've figured a little something out. Maybe we just need a big wreck early on to get rid of, 10 to 15 cars.
I'd be interested to see, like, because I'd be interested to go back and watch the duels too, because
Mm.
it's less cars, split them in two races. So I don't know. That's a good it's a good assessment there. I mean, but you're
It's
right.
just live in my head for a few
Well,
minutes,
and
Cody.
is it also got something to do with being a little more aggressive when there's less cars?
hmm
Do you feel like you've got more space?
hmm
Of course, those
hmm
cars in the back now are closer to the front. So I think you're probably right on the money. It's just probably a lot that goes into that. And of course, this being the cutoff race, and like you said, a lot of big names trying to make the playoffs. Um, you know that played a lot into this.
I also
It was
think with
great.
not having as many cars, you could actually get a third lane going because
Yeah, that was
it
nice.
wasn't, it was still kind of even across the board. When they have so many cars, a lot of guys are hesitant to get out of it because if you don't get enough cars in that third lane, you can't get the momentum you need. And I think that probably played into it because the third line was there. We've seen it with Blaney. I
Yeah,
mean, who ends up winning the race
yeah.
was in the third line,
When's the last time we actually saw the third lane actually take off and do what it did? I mean,
pre
you
next
know,
gen.
when's yeah, because I always remember growing up. You'll remember this term when DW would always call the middle. What you remember what DW called the middle?
Well, shoot, what did he call it?
He
You'll
called it
say it. I mean, the
the
sucker
sucker
hole.
hole.
Yep, yep.
And dude, it was there on Saturday night.
hmm
That high line would work, that low line would go, and you get stuck in that middle, and you get caught in the sucker hole, and you just go on to the back until you can get in line. And it felt good to see it because I was like, man, okay, this is reminiscent of what we grew up watching.
Yep.
And kudos to a lot of those guys that were of course to Blaney. I saw a tweet today that said we ain't seen drafting like that since Earnhardt at Talladega. Going I mean, I'd beg to say, Junior going from sixth to first, from lessons learned from his father was probably a little bit better, but
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot more to play into that. But
I
anyway,
think we've just been so deprived of good
we
super
have,
speedway
we
racing that
have.
it looks better than. I mean, not to take anything away from YRB, but it looked better than what we would usually compare it to.
Yeah, and I mean, I watched the in-car camera from Blaney,
Yeah, that
and
was
I mean,
fantastic.
it was great. I mean, but I still stand by. Probably Dale Earnhardt's was probably better. I mean, to be honest. I mean, but anyway, we're not comparing that. It's not part of the conversation, Mike. But I mean, regardless, Blaney did a fantastic job, and I was surprised to be able to see someone, because really when we talk about this, really feels like Denny's probably the last real good drafter. You
hmm
know, So to see what we saw out of Blaney and some of those other guys, that was really cool to see.
Yep, I agree 100%. So let's finish this up from stage one here. Are you glad or not glad we didn't get a new winner on Saturday?
I'm kind of mixed. Like, I'm
I figured
glad
you
we
would
did.
be because I know we
I
were texting some during it.
We
And
were, and I'm glad in the fact that it wasn't like a Cody Ware or or Justin Haley or somebody like that.
Cole
Um,
Custer,
yeah, Cole
who I
Custer. Like
thought for
if Cole
sure was going
Custer
to win
would,
that. And I'm telling you,
yeah,
if he'd have won that race, you just set this podcast on fire. I would have been done, dude.
yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh.
for me, if the new winner would, and I get it. There's gumption behind the names I'm gonna say. But had Kyle Busch won, had Brad
Mm-hmm.
Keselowski won, had Ryan Preece even won. Um, you know, had any of those guys won, had Tyler, I really feel like I would have been like, okay, that's all right. Because I mean, Brad Keselowski, I was texting you during the race, and he clawed his way back into the top 25
Mm-hmm.
in points,
If
and
he
I mean, he
wouldn't
was
have had such an awful start to the year, and I mean just awful, he probably would have got in on points.
probably
It'd have been close.
he'd
It'd
have
have
been
been
like
really
Tyler
close.
Reddick. He'd have been like Tyler Reddick.
Mm.
I mean, so that's the thing is had it been one of those guys, because Kyle Busch had some good runs, and then he was just kind of average, and um, but
There's
had it been one of those, I'd have been okay. But I'm like you, had it been Cody Ware or one of those guys, I'd have probably been pretty livid. It'd just been what we've always talked about. So
two drivers I would have been okay with winning. I wouldn't have felt like we were getting an illegitimate person, which I still think Allison Dillon is pretty illegitimate, but whatever. But just talking about this Saturday, because he's been terrible, dude, up until
he's
Richmond. Like he's been awful.
he's not been
Uh,
as bad as he was last year.
Fair. He's still not great. He's still not
No,
playoff
no,
worthy, if you ask me. But
no.
two drivers, and when I say playoff worthy, I want to see guys who can get in and actually not just do the
Run
whole
around.
Homer Simpson come in, grab your hat, turn around, and leave. And that would have been Ryan Preece and Chris Buescher. If either one of those would have
Oh,
won,
Chris
they
Buescher. Yeah,
probably could have raced themselves into the next round.
that was my dark
Whereas
horse.
I don't think Austin Dillon's going to the next round, which we'll get to. We're going to talk about that in the
Yep,
next stage.
yep.
You know what I mean? Anyways, whatever. So, me personally, I'm kind of with you. I'm mixed, but I'm more on the side of I'm glad that Ryan Blaney won. Heck, I'm texting you guys like, thank God. Like, I'm
Mhm.
like so happy because at one point, if dude, I'm telling you, like Cody Ware is Cody Ware. That would have just I would have just laughed if that happened. Nothing against Cody. I mean, he said afterwards he's like because Denny took some shots at him leading up, not personally toward him, but just the same scenario. And he was like, people need to get used to the fact that we're going to win soon. And I'm like, brother, okay, the only way you're winning is on a track like this. Um, we've seen your speed. You're not lying to anybody, But if Cody Ware would have won, it would have just been hysterical. If
Mhm.
Justin Haley would have won, still hysterical, a little more angry. Although Haley at times has looked pretty good this year. Cole Custer would have won that race. This dude's been awful. I mean, you could argue that Justin Haley's been better than Cole Custer. Heck, he might even be ahead of him in points. I don't know. Not going to look it up. Don't really care. All I know is Cole Custer would have got in. If Haas Factory put a darn team in to the playoff off some crap like that, dude, I might have been done. We're selling the podcast at that point. I'm getting all the $5 for it, but we're letting it go. I'm done at that point.
Yeah, I can't
So,
believe.
I mean, that's just me. Are you looking up the points?
Yeah, I was working on it.
See, I done struck curiosity, uh, in you. So,
I can only look
anyways,
up the. Let's see.
should be able to go to driver
Yeah,
points,
Justin
although they
Haley
may
is third.
change.
So Justin Haley's 30th in points. Cole Custer was 33rd in points.
My point
The
exactly.
only Cody Ware is 36 in points. And that's only because he ain't ran every race. I don't think.
No, he's
Um,
ran every race.
oh,
He's
has he?
running all. That's
Okay.
why he's in 36th. That's why
Oh,
he's in 36th.
yeah, because you got
He's
Catherine
literally
there too.
dead last. You realize that
Yep.
one he led 15 laps in this race. That means we almost had the dead last of full-time drivers and
Hey, Can,
points make
can
the
I can I
playoffs.
can I just touch on something too? This is something we've always touched on, but like I think I finally putting a nail in this coffin that we've been beating for probably 2 to 3 months. Do you know who's 35th in points?
Who?
Riley Herbst
Yeah.
in a
Well,
2311 car.
35's his number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be anymore.
So
Well, of
ahead
course,
of him,
depending on what happens in that lawsuit, but we're going to jump into that
yeah,
later.
ahead of him in points is Noah Gregson or Graxon, as Dale Jr.
Yeah, as
likes to
Junior
call
would say.
him. Cole Custer, Ty Dillon, uh, Justin Haley, and Todd Gilliland. Those
What's Austin
those
Dillon
guys.
in points?
Austin Dillon
Yes,
and
in driver
driver
points.
points 15th.
Okay.
So that's and then Alex Bowman 16th, Chris Buescher 17th, Ryan Preece.
Wait a second. I still think that's playoff. I think they've
No, I mean
adjusted it.
I got it on driver. I do have it on driver.
Yeah, but I wonder if they do some weird things come playoff
It's gonna
time.
be updated after the Daytona race. It's going to be a
Yeah.
different
Okay.
standing than it is. So I wouldn't be able to tell you before, what it was before, but you
Yeah.
know, but
Anyways.
it's not. But vastly the driver and playoffs aren't vastly different. I mean, they're fairly close. There's some,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I'll tell you what. While you're there, let's move it on to stage 2 here. And if you don't mind, since you have it open, can you just read out seeds 1 through 16 for us to kind of set the playoff field for everyone?
yep. So see, going straight down 1 to 16. Kyle Larson, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, SVG, Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, Josh Berry, Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, and Alex Bowman.
Okay. Thank you. Knowing that list, who do you think this? So, just to remind everyone, NASCAR does 3 races per round, except for the championship round for whatever reason. Um, and after each round, they eliminate 4 drivers, until you get down to final four. So, the 3 races that we have coming up are Darlington, Gateway, and then Bristol, our first 3. So, we'll eliminate 4 drivers after that. So, we'll go from 16 down to 12. So, knowing that, Cody, who do you say does not make it to the next round?
I'm going to say Austin Dillon. I'm going to say Austin Cindric. Josh Berry. And Ross Chastain.
Okay. I will also say Austin Dillon, Alex Bowman. I would love to see Josh Berry make it to the next round, but he's
I
not
would
running like
too.
he did
I
earlier
would
this year.
too.
So I would say Josh Berry. And then my 4th one, I'm going to say Joey Logano.
I thought
It
about it. I
just,
almost went there.
I think Austin Cindric makes it through. He won Gateway last year.
I
He
know.
seems to run well there. But crazier things have happened.
He hasn't been
Um,
right since the whole thing happened with his dad.
it's true. But I do think SVG gets through, but I think it's close. He
He's
needs
got
to
such a
run.
he's got
He's
such a
got a
lead.
buffer, but he still needs to average about an 18th place finish in
Yep.
these next 3 races.
Mm-hmm.
And that, even though they've been running better, that's going to be tough. Now, if he gets through this one, he's probably through the next one because the Roval's in the round of 12, right? Or is the Roval round of 8?
Hang on, I'll tell you.
Roval's
It
round.
is. It's
Roval's
a round
round.
of 12. It's a round of 12. It's the
Round of 12.
last. It's the cutoff
Mm-hmm.
race.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure this is discussion at Trackhouse right now. SVG's got to get his best Roval, or sorry, not Roval, his best oval racing he's done at some tracks that he probably hadn't been the best at.
Yeah, Darlington for one, and Bristol.
Darlington's tough. He's going to struggle at Darlington. I think he can run pretty well at Gateway, and
Yeah.
I think Bristol. I think Trackhouse has fixed their stuff where I think he'll run okay at Bristol. I think what was hurting him earlier this year, I just don't think Trackhouse had the speed. I don't think it was as much to do with SVG, but it's going to be close. He to me, he gets out of that on by the skin of his teeth. Luckily, he's built a great buffer, but he's going to get through on the skin of his teeth, I believe. But then from there, and we won't ruin a future podcast, but I think from there he probably does make it to the round of 8. Um, so, thank you for sharing that.
Anytime.
So we've gone who doesn't make it to the next round. Who, let me ask you this next. Who failed not making the playoff field? Who would you say failed this year with their expectations and not making the playoff field?
Chris Buescher, for one. I mean, he was my dark
Mm-hmm.
horse from the jump, and I mean, I'm not saying that just because he was my dark horse. I definitely think that RFK not having a car in the playoffs in its entirety
Mm-hmm.
is pretty big letdown. Um, I definitely think Kyle Busch not making it again for the second straight year is telling for RCR.
I think
Um,
it's also a little bit telling for Kyle too.
yeah,
Father
yeah,
Time
like
is undefeated, except currently with Denny Hamlin, and Father Time seem to be having a pretty
I
good grudge
I
match. But
still I still feel like Kyle still has it. I just feel like he's in some really mediocre equipment.
I
Like,
don't
and
fully
I and I
disagree.
and I get it. People out there would say, well, Austin Dillon can win a race. Why can't Kyle Busch win a race in an RCR car? I understand that. But if you're going to tell me who I'm going to pick to go out and win a race, I'm still going to pick Kyle MFB.
And I will say this though, in that Richmond race too, Kyle was running toward the front when all the carnage happened.
Mhm.
So maybe he
He
had a
was
pretty
running.
good car that day
He was
too.
running towards the front in Daytona.
Yeah, yeah,
I will say this, and I know we made the whole joke last year. The running joke was, "Oh, Kyle found the wall again."
yeah.
And this year, it wasn't so much that he found the wall, but he found trouble. He got caught up in other people's junk.
Mm-hmm.
And last year was a lot of his fault. This year, I
Just
won't
bad
say
luck.
all of it, but it was a lot of bad luck. But it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't Brad Keselowski luck, but Brad Keselowski had bad team luck and bad luck. But like Kyle's, I felt was not a lot of. I feel like they fixed a lot of the issues that caused him to do what he did last year. But he was just in the wrong place, at the wrong time a lot of times. And
Mm-hmm.
I do hope, and I guess this is just me just being nostalgic and wanting to see the older guy, which I didn't used to care for Kyle Busch, but I do hope to see him run well next year. Um, I would love to see him make the playoffs.
I'm still just shocked that he's going back to RCR. But then again, I don't know what options he would have had.
Well, with this whole
That's
thing
where
with
it gets interesting.
2311 too, and like you said, what other options did he have? Would he have even had?
Mm-hmm. I think for me, biggest failure. Um, I agree wholeheartedly with you, RFK. I mean, they had started getting things going in the right direction last year. Did they bite off more than they could chew adding a third car as an organization? You got to ask that question now since they didn't put a single one in the playoffs and they had two of them in it last year. So I think that's a legitimate question. But I think my biggest one for me, Ty Gibbs. We talked about it in our very first podcast.
Oh yeah.
Who needs to live up to it? Who needs to finally step up? For me, it was Ty Gibbs. It's your time to shine, buddy. What you got? He ain't have anything. I mean, he was the same Ty Gibbs we've been seeing for the last few years. He's followed kind of roughly the same path as Austin Dillon. These guys who ran really, really well in Xfinity. Although I thought Gibbs was a little different. I did think he was a little bit more talented than Dillon was coming through. But Granddaddy's got a decision to make at some point. I mean, because the only thing he's got going for him, there's not really big JGR drivers in the wings right now waiting to come up. But at some point, Joe's got to decide. I mean, Joe's got all three other Joe Gibbs Racing. The expectation is all four guys make the playoffs. That's it. I mean, a few years ago, the expectation was that all four guys make the final four. I mean, it was like could potentially happen. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that to me, that's
Well,
the biggest failure this year is
and
Ty Gibbs not making the playoffs.
I think for Ty Gibbs too, you have Chase Briscoe, first year JGR coming over, and he makes playoffs. He goes out. I mean, how many poles did he get? Like four,
Yeah.
five? I
Oh,
mean,
just keep adding to it, Cody. They decided that it was crew chief that was the issue for Ty Gibbs. So what do? They take Gabehart off the box with
oh yeah,
Hamlin and
yep.
put Gale on the box with Hamlin, who was with Gibbs last year. And what do? Oh, reel off 4 wins for someone who's 44 years old. Yeah, and then midway through the year, they make another crew chief change. What do? They put Gabehart on the box with Gibbs. And what happens? Gibbs starts arguing with Gabehart during races, and Gabehart basically tells him, "You're stupid. I know what I'm doing. Shut up and trust me." I mean, yeah, something's going on
He's
here. They
got
got to make a
he's got a
decision.
lot of maturing to do, and we've said that for a while. And you
For
know,
what it's worth, too, as soon as he's transitioned to Cup is when the whole thing with his dad happens. His dad passes away. Of course, we still don't know to this day what happened. You can make your assumptions off the fact that we don't know what happened. But yeah, I mean, to give him a little benefit of the doubt, I think that plays into it a lot.
yeah, but
But
there's also a lot, and also on to piggyback on that, it's also a lot of expectations for him because
yeah,
he's just the grandson. You know,
he is, and he
um,
was lighting the world on fire coming up through the ranks. So I always think money can get you so far, and he had that money, but he was racing his Xfinity with some dogs, man. Like when he was coming through, and he was putting it on them.
he
So
was.
that's what makes me think, yeah, something. What is going on, dude? Like what is going on? I don't know. Maybe the next gen car just doesn't fit him. It's a possibility,
We're
but
saying about
I
Chase
don't know.
Elliott.
It's still a major failure for them to not make the playoffs this year.
Yep.
Just no other way to say it. Um, but that's the biggest one for me. Besides RFK, the fact RFK didn't put a single one in there is, I'm sure, it's disappointing for them. All right, now that we know the playoff field, give me one Final Four dark horse.
Let me pull it up
You
real
want me to
quick.
go first?
No, I got it. A Final Four dark horse. Chase Briscoe.
Mm, okay, I like that. I want to still say my dark horse is SVG. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I was
I do
going.
think
Yeah,
he makes the round of 8, but he doesn't have it yet to get there. My Final Four dark horse is Bubba. I think the 23 has been so consistent this year, man. Honestly, to me, this is the best season Bubba Wallace has put together. This is what he has not been able to do in years past. Now, yeah, he got a win, and there for a while it was looking like it was going to be the same old bubble watch for Bubba. But he's been so consistent this year. I think he's starting to learn what you need to do um, to get into the playoffs. And now that I think he's there, I think he can make a little bit of a run. These first 3 tracks, he should run good enough to get himself into the round of 12. I think from there he should be okay. If he gets in the round of 8, man, there's some tracks that kind of suit Bubba. Kansas being one of them.
hmm
If he can get to Kansas with a chance to advance, he could very well do it. So, yeah, to me, he's my one dark horse from there. So, do you want to set? I didn't have this on here. How about we set what we think our Final Four is right now, and we'll do it after each round. All right? If it changes, it changes. So, for me,
yeah, yeah.
my Final Four, I'm going to go Denny. I'm going to go Bubba, Blaney, and one of the Hendricks cars will get in just because somehow or another they'll make sure that they get in. But I think it's Byron. I don't think Larson makes the Final Four this year.
No, yeah, no, I don't. I don't think he does either. All right, so my Final Four prediction uh, before the round of 16 or 12 or whatever. Give me Denny. Give me Christopher Bell.
It's hard not to say Seabell. God, he's so good.
See here,
On
see
these last,
my
those
so,
last few
and you
tracks,
gotta,
those last few tracks, man. Seabell is so good.
yep, and see you gotta think who was my dark horse, Chase Briscoe. So right
Yeah,
now I've got a 3 Joe Gibbs little triplet action
yeah.
going on in the Final Four, and then I'm gonna say the fourth one, probably William Byron. I mean, it's hard to go against him. He's very consistent, so I think
Mm-hmm.
he'll be consistent enough, and he's gonna win one. So Um,
Sorry, with your 4 right now, who would be your champ?
I don't know. I mean, I'm back and forth between Denny and Byron. Like that's
That's
my,
fair.
you know,
Here's
I'm hoping it's Denny. Like I know I'm not saying that because you're my co-host. Like I just say it because I want to finally see him win one and get
it's
that
not
monkey
happening
off
this year.
his back.
Not
But
happening this year. It's
you
going to
know,
happen next year when they go to Homestead. Here's why: Toyota and Gibbs in general just second or third best at Phoenix. They
Phoenix,
just
yeah,
are. They just are. I mean, it sucks, but they just are. If a Ford, specifically if a Penske Ford makes the
is
Final
in there
Four,
at the Final
I
Four.
can't pick against them. So since I have Ryan Blaney in the Final
You
Four,
got to go Ryan Blaney.
I go Ryan Blaney. I mean, it just you can't. They're just so good there, man. Especially the last race of the year. So now, if Byron gets in and Blaney doesn't, it would be hard to pick against the Chevy. Here's where it could get really interesting. If Ross Chastain makes it back to the Final Four, I think Buddy can win the whole thing. He's really good at
He's good at
Phoenix, dude.
Phoenix. He's so good at Phoenix.
But I
It's
don't think he can
unbelievable.
make the final. I don't think Trackhouse just quite has that speed to get
I
him
mean,
to the
dude, I
Final
told
Four.
you
But
he's out of the first round for me.
yeah, and
So
it wouldn't surprise me if he was. But yeah, if somehow or another though he gets there, he's so good at Phoenix, man. Like he's gonna be a tough one to beat. But yeah, I know you're probably a little shocked that I'm not picking Denny. I want to.
no, I'm not shocked at all.
The Phoenix is just not it. That's not their
No,
place, man. Now, if he can continue to have the success that he had this year, next year, with Homestead being the finale, which we'll talk if that's actually the finale or not in a minute, then yeah, I'd pick him then. But at Phoenix, it's just not his track, man. And he'll tell you that. It's just not his track. Now, any given Sunday, it could be. And all he needs is for one day for it to all go together. So,
yep,
I don't know.
yep.
Well, let's move it on here. Let's talk for the last stage here. Let's talk some off-track stuff. The biggest one today, Pockers 2311 responded to the motion that NASCAR put forward. Basically, what's going down is Thursday they're going to have a hearing to see if they get to keep their preliminary injunction. The original ruling was yes. NASCAR appealed. NASCAR won the appeal. Now this is kind of a almost final appeal, although 2311 said they'll take it all the way to the Supreme Court if they have to. This thing just keeps getting messier. I mean, they've shown today, 2311 shown today that Reddick has said if they lose the charter, he's going to file a breach of contract and become a free agent, which I don't think that's that big of a deal. If that's what Tyler Reddick should do, I think everyone at 2311 would tell Tyler Reddick that's what you should do. But to me, God, this thing just keeps getting messier and messier. I don't understand why NASCAR is being so stubborn about this. I really think if NASCAR would just tone their stubbornness down a little bit, Front Row and 2311 would have come to the table and would have been able to figure this thing out. Instead, now we're going to know it all. We're about to learn everything that NASCAR's kept under wraps for years, and we've already known now. I don't know. I mean, the court system's court system. It's weird, but NASCAR's already said they're going to sell these charters. Like they flat out said they're going to sell these charters. So that's 2311's biggest argument for Thursday is the fact that they're going to lose their charters if this injunction doesn't go right. And depending on what happens December 1st, they could cease to exist in 2026. And they just built this whole, so they can literally argue irreparable harm out of this. It's just so messy, man. God, I should have never got to this point, honestly. I don't blame them for doing it, but yeah. And then let's just say, like, let's just keep the mess going, Cody. Let's say Thursday rules in favor of NASCAR, but come December, it's ruled in favor of 2311. Well, NASCAR's now sold the charters. What happens next? Do they create 4 more charters, 3 for 2311 and 1 for front? Well, I guess it's 2 for, I don't know how many ever. We're talking 6 charters here, I think, total.
Yeah,
Or no, 5. Is it 2? Front row has 2
it's two for Front Row, and then it's
and
three
3
for.
for 20. So 5 total charters. Are we now up to 41 charters? 41 charter teams? I really wouldn't be opposed to that, but I don't think NASCAR's going to do it. Because then you got to rewrite the whole charter agreement because you got to distribute that money amongst 41 teams instead of 36.
It ain't like they
And
ain't got the money.
it's gross. It's not even messy anymore, man. It's gross. Like,
It's just a pissing contest for,
mm-hmm.
excuse my language for everybody out there, but it is what it is. It's just a pissing contest with NASCAR, and they just want to, they want to go out there and try to make an example of 2311 in front row, and
But again, this is
it's
so stupid. Don't do
it
this.
is.
Why would you've got to pull the one of the most polarizing figures ever, and Michael Jordan.
They don't care. They don't
And
care.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I just sometimes I'm like, what are y'all doing down there in Charlotte? Please just stop being so stubborn, man. Like, come on, just gosh. But whatever. We'll find out Thursday. Next podcast, we'll have a follow up to that, one
Yeah,
way or another. Either they rule in favor of NASCAR and 2311 appeals, and that's what we'll say, or what. But I just think it's gonna, man. If NASCAR turns around and sells these charters before that court case in December, which I get why they're trying to, because if they are actually going to allow new teams in, those new teams need time. But man, it just gets, I don't know, dude. It's nasty. It's so gross. Mm. And then I think when you talk about Riley Herbst, we said we would talk about this at the time. Well, let's bring that up. I think the only reason we haven't heard that Corey Haim's going to 2311 next year to Drive Cup is because of this. If they
yeah,
had a charter right now, that would have been announced weeks ago.
yeah.
Weeks ago. And Corey Haim's got to be sitting there looking at this too, like, hey, you guys, might quote unquote own me right now, but if y'all don't have no charter, I'm out. Like,
Yep,
and he
yep.
needs to be. He needs to be. Can't blame him. Can't blame him at all. I don't know, man. I don't know if you have any thoughts. I feel like you kind of feel like me. It's just, this is disgusting. Like,
It is. It's a black eye for the sport, to be honest.
mm-hmm.
You're the organization it's going up against. Basically, it's a team, and they're going back and forth, two teams, and it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they can't come to a common agreement and just re up all this stuff so we can keep Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin and these really good drivers and Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace and
That's my thing, man. Is you've got, I feel confident to say you've got a future championship driver in Tyler Reddick that
you got some generational drive. I mean, Bubba Wallace is
that
no
is
slouch himself.
no, but I feel like most people say at some point Reddick's probably going to win a championship, and you're about to screw that. It's just, oh God, man. Sometimes you got to look at what's better for the overall bigger picture for
Well,
the sport.
here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. You've got, you know, 2311 is still a fairly new team.
Mm-hmm,
They haven't
mm-hmm.
been around, what, 3 years, 4 years, 3 years?
4 years now,
4 years.
I
So,
think.
like, you're sitting here and you're like, oh, we want to bring other manufacturers into this sport. We want to bring this and that. We want to do this and that. Well, how can you promote growth while at the same time you're sitting there taking one of the newest, more successful teams in the organization to court because they
Here's what
didn't
it is.
do
We
what you
only
wanted
want
them
you
to
to
do?
come in as a new manufacturer, new team, as long as you'll bow down and kiss our feet.
Hmm.
That's the exception.
That's the
And someone's
France
finally
way.
stood up to the bully. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, is what
Michael
it's kind of
Jordan and
coming down.
Denny
Someone's
Hamlin.
finally stood up to the bully. It took two really cocky, talented guys to say enough's enough. And
And the fact that
man,
one of them is the fact that the one of them is still actively driving
I'm
for
telling you,
NASCAR, that's
I
some
want Denny. I
balls.
know some people hate Denny with all their guts, but if you want the integrity of the sport long term, you really want Denny Hamlin to win that championship. Them have to hand him that trophy the second weekend of November, and then turn around and have to face him in the courtroom just less than a month later. Oh, that's
Yes.
made for TV right there, man.
Hey, NASCAR wants the drama. Make
Yeah,
it happen.
there you go. I
But
can
they
tell
don't
you what
want. They don't.
drama's going to happen. Denny's winning with a white flag coming around. Next thing you know, there's a debris caution for a lug nut sitting in lug nut on wheels we don't even have lug nuts with anymore, sitting in
They'll,
turn four
they'll
that
throw.
someone just threw out there.
Quick, you got them lug nuts from '04 in your pocket? Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
lucky lug nuts. Well,
throw
throw
it
them
out
out there.
there.
They'll
Oh
pay
my
some
gosh.
they'll pay some fan to throw out a hot dog and a beer can and be like, "That's a caution."
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So, other biggest off track news, other one of the other ones that was announced last week or this past weekend, to no one's surprise, Connor Zilisch Trackhouse Cup full time next year, going to be taking Suarez's spot. Haven't announced a car number yet, which I think is interesting. He, drives the 88 most of the times, but currently that's what SVG's driving. So I'll be interested to see, what number they put him in. Kid's really good. Kid's really good. And I'm excited for him to get here just so we can see someone give SVG some competition on the road course.
Preach it, brother.
But I think Zillage is one to watch pretty immediately, as making some noise pretty immediately, because he's not only is he good on road courses, he's not terrible on ovals. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see him come up and hopefully win some races. I would not be surprised to see him win a race next year.
No, not at all.
Definitely think
And
he's
he's
a
so
future
mature,
champion.
man, to be 18. He's so, and the way he's handled this whole collarbone issue, he's wise beyond his years, man. Wise beyond his years, honestly.
What a freak thing.
I'm just glad it was his collarbone. When I initially watched it, I was like, holy crap. Like, yeah, I'm just glad it was his collarbone. That's it.
Yeah.
The funniest thing out of all of it was his dad's tweet saying the now most embarrassing that's happened to him since when he crapped himself. That was hilarious.
That and SVG getting out of his car the day after.
Yeah, just Evan, but that and the fact they told him in the driver's meeting not to do that is even really funny too. So, and you saw Kligerman, which shout out to Parker Kligerman from this past weekend, coming in for for Zillage about 16 or so laps into the race, and then wins it for him in Daytona. But he came out of the roof hatch and slowly stepped down out of the car. I thought that was pretty funny, but yeah, that was a really cool story.
Did he ever say exactly? I mean, I watched the video a bunch of times, but did he ever say what actually happened? Did his foot? He looked like his foot got caught.
He didn't put the net back in the car, and so his foot slipped on the net when he was stepping out, and then it wedged in between the side of his car and the headrest.
Yeah.
Humpty Dumpty fell over, pretty much, is what happened. Yeah. It's a shame. It is a shame, and we'll see. This weekend he's gonna have to race a little bit more than he did at Daytona. So we'll see. He should be feeling better by this weekend, though. Those collarbones heal up a little quicker than anything else. So we'll see how it goes. So, anyways, new schedule for 2026. Really quick, because we want to talk a little bit on this too, but. What track are you most excited to see? I already know your answer, so go ahead.
You already know my answer?
Yeah.
What's my answer?
Chicagoland.
Yes. How did you know? No, man. I've been
trying to speak it into existence for last.
Dude, I have been. Like I've been sitting there hyping it up. I wanted it back. I got it back. It's gonna be great. I might have to go. I'll carry my Glock with me, but I'm gonna go.
You're about an hour outside the city at that point. You should be okay.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We should go. We should. As long as the timing's right, we should go.
It is during the summer.
It is during the summer. You're off now, so hey, this could work.
We'll see.
This could work.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I think the other big storyline is North Wilkesboro getting a points race.
Yep.
But what comes with that, as excited as I am to see them get a points race, why the heck are we doing the All-Star race at Dover?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
That was a little weird. We haven't even had good races at Dover.
No. And I think it's SMI wants to keep the All-Star race, which is fine. I get it. But I guess Dover only gets one race now, right? So maybe they decided they want to put a second one there. I don't know, man. It's for the All-Star race. I think ever since they did that All-Star race at Bristol, hear me out. Ever since they did that All-Star race at Bristol and COVID, I like the All-Star race at the short track. I just hate we don't have a good short track car. That's just me.
That's why
if we had a better short track car.
That's why I still say Charlotte. That's why I still say Charlotte.
Charlotte would be fantastic.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
let's
Put it
get
in
the
first. I don't
Roval
care.
off the take
Put
the
it.
take the darn Roval off the schedule and let's race at Charlotte.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that again. I don't. So tired of that. Just please, just I am excited for San Diego. I am excited for that.
Yes,
I
that's
think
going to
that
be
should be
very
great.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think that'll be really cool, and um, you know, um, of course, excited for Martinsville. Martinsville's on like March 29th. It's in March. I'm like, blah.
And
Hopefully we get some
last
decent
weekend of October,
weather. Yep. Which
it
it's football season.
keeps his place in the playoff format, which brings me to that next point. What the heck are we doing leaving this playoff format the same? Now, I know Ben Kennedy came out and said don't read too much in that. I'm calling BS. Y'all ain't changing it. You're not doing anything. What the heck, man? What are we? What are,
They're honestly,
God, I can't
you know
take
what
it,
they're
dude.
doing? They're putting all their time into the lawsuit, so they ain't worried about the playoff thing. That's the
Well,
problem is.
shout out to our friend Brandon. I didn't even realize he called it on one of Denny's podcasts that they've just completely gotten rid of the whole committee they had together. So what they do to try to distract us from this is change the All-Star race to a place that is going to make people angry, and to give Wilkesboro a points
Points
race
race.
to get us talking about those two things, and then they just slowly slide in there the round of 16, the round of 12, the round of 8, the round of 4, or championship 4. Give me a freaking break. We're going to have another just, and it's an even year, so Logano's going to find a way to win it somehow or another. Like, Joey Logano is going to be a 4-time champion after next year, and we're going to be like,
No, he's not.
yeah, exactly. And no, he's not. You're right. Like, it just, gosh, man. Again, I've said it on here multiple times. I'm not against the playoffs. I'm against the way you get into the playoffs right now and the way that these current playoffs work. That's my problem.
Yep.
I know you are a purist when it comes to full season points. That's great. However, we could still make the playoffs
Oh, I told we've
better
had
than
this
what they are.
conversation. The
It's
last
and
time
we
we had
have.
on
It's
the
not
podcast,
difficult
I
to
told
fix it.
you, you know, the last time we were on the podcast and we talked about this, I did say like I am a purist, but I also understand the old playoffs or the old chase was not that bad. Like
Chase.
when you break it
No.
down, it was not that bad because it gave you a results over 10 races, and so
Consistency.
yeah. So I'm fine with that. We talked about that. So but I still think you got to reward these guys for some longevity. Otherwise, what's the point of running 36 races? Let's just run the 10 races. Why run
Yeah,
36 races? Let's just run 10 races,
I'm with you.
and whoever the champion is after 10 races, then okay, we're done.
Yep.
How
I
about
mean,
that?
they've already said TV is the biggest driving factor behind this.
Hmm.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. NBC wants some drama, like that's fine. Give me the 16 best drivers over the course of the regular season. I don't care if you just won one race or not. Just because you won a race doesn't mean you should be in there. Give me the 16
Best.
top
Yep.
drivers and 16th in points. That's fine.
Yep. Yep.
Make wins worth a little bit more, but not a
Yeah.
guarantee.
Yeah.
Right? Give them a few extra bonus points, but not a guarantee.
We always did
Right?
that anyway.
Yeah, and then just each race, get rid of the 4, and then just give me a championship round. That's all I'm
Yeah.
asking for. Just give me a
We-
championship round. At this point, go back to 12 drivers. That way you can have 3 races at the end, and
Yeah.
give me a championship round, man. That's what it's racing. It's motorsports. All right? It doesn't need a one and done. That's not how motorsports work. It's not it.
Yeah.
Heck, I mean, this is one of the most pro sport. I would say NASCAR is the only one who, from a professional sports standpoint, who does it like this. Um, but now golf has kind of changed things up this year, and so. But even then, golf made you have to be consistent in that to get all the way to the final one.
Hmm.
Like it's not just Scotty Scheffler wins the BMW. Now all of a sudden he's automatically locked into the Tour Championship. You know what I mean? Like he was consistent throughout the whole year. Now, granted, he didn't win the Tour Championship, so he didn't win the FedEx Cup, which is golf's playoffs, if you will, which they changed that this year. But at least consistency still kind of matters for golf to an extent. So
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's got to be some way. Actually, no, there is a way to fix this to make it easier. We're just being stubborn. And they say not to read into it, but yeah, I'm sure. 2 days before Daytona, they'll still be saying, don't read into it. 2 days before Homestead finale next year. Oh, well, don't read into it.
We've seen this story too many times to
I
know.
swear I've never seen an organization think their fan base is so dumb like NASCAR does.
Yeah.
It's just constantly, man. All
But
right,
here we are.
moving on. Let's wrap it. Darlington this weekend, starting the playoffs. Who do you like at Darlington this weekend?
I like Denny. I mean, I like William
He's
Byron.
good.
Yep.
Yep.
I like William Byron. I like Chase Briscoe, to be honest. I know that all three of those were in my Final Four, but I like all three of those guys. Probably Denny's my favorite to win the race. I would love to see him go out and just make a statement and say, hey, here I am. I'm coming to get this
Dude, I'm telling you
championship.
right now, if they lose this thing on Thursday, if this thing can go right, he's gonna be so pissed off. He's gonna be driving like what do they say in Ricky Bobby, like a pissed off teenager. That's
Yeah.
what it is. But yeah, all those are good picks. Dark horse for this weekend, Brad Keselowski. Go out there and add a little drama to it,
Yeah.
BK, and just
Or Chris.
really anyone from RFK.
Yeah, it's
RFK
like
runs
Chris,
really
Chris
good at
Butcher.
Darlington.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I could very well see them. What was it? A couple years ago where we went through the first 4 races of the playoffs and didn't have a playoff driver
Did that
win
playoff
or something
winner?
like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So heck, I'd like to see that because the inconsistency will matter at that point. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Anyways, we'll see. Yeah, I like Denny this weekend. Anarchy.
Anarchy.
Byron's been really good there. Unfortunately, Logano's usually been pretty good at Darlington.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He hadn't had typical Logano luck this year.
It's not an even year, so.
Yeah, he's getting that odd year bad luck. But yeah, we'll see. Should be a good race. Gonna squeeze it in there with all the college football that I'm gonna partake in this coming weekend.
I know this is a
But
Sunday
night. The good news is Sunday night race with Labor Day being on Monday. But Sunday night is Miami and Notre Dame. We might have to split screen the race and the football game for that one. Oh, and then on top of it, we got a fantasy football draft during all of it. So should be a good time, just like we do every other Labor Day weekend. The only thing we're not doing this weekend is getting in a round of golf. But we're breaking the tradition from the last two, but not playing golf. But to be honest, even if all of us weren't tied up, there's so many good football games on Saturday. I don't think I could be on the golf course.
You know what else? You didn't even talk about your game on Sunday.
Yeah, the Hokies play. Well, that's Sunday afternoon, so it'll be done about the time the race starts.
Yeah.
So we'll see. You want me to give a prediction of Tech games? Is that what you're trying to get at? You want me to?
No.
Since you're a UVA fan, you want me to talk about how they're not going to win the game?
No,
that's
it's
not very simple,
why.
Cody. I don't think they can beat South Carolina. However, I could see a way they could beat South Carolina, but I don't think they can. I will say this: I do expect them to keep it close midway through the third quarter. I think South Carolina just got more depth, and we'll pull away. That's just me.
That's accurate. It's in Charlotte.
The Hokies have 2
it's neutral site, right?
Atlanta.
Oh, well.
Yeah, if it was in Charlotte, I'd be going. Atlanta's a little different story.
Fair enough.
But I just 2 new coordinators for Tech. Going to keep them in a little bit longer than what they see. However, the Gamecocks are also coached by Beamer, and as a former team coached by the elder Beamer, big time games with big expectations don't usually go well for that family. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a much better game than people are giving it credit for. But I just don't think Tech currently has the horses to compete late in games with teams like that. But we might surprise a few people.
We'll just turn this into a college football podcast during the NASCAR offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll just keep it rolling. It's fine.
Well, let's finish it with this. Who you taking? Texas, Ohio State? Go.
Texas.
I want to say Texas. I think Ohio State finds a way to win, though.
They're starting a freshman at quarterback.
I like ours.
That's why I took Texas.
Yeah, well, that's true. I don't know. There's a lot of pressure on Arch. I think by the end of the year, he'll be ready for it. But the first game, I don't know. Clemson, LSU.
Clemson. I think they're poised.
LSU. I read something today. LSU has not won a season opener in 5 years.
It's been a hot
5 years. Where's the game at?
And look, hang on, I'll tell you.
Is it neutral?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're not playing. They're not playing in Death Valley. Well, Which Death Valley?
One, yeah, exactly. Either Death
um,
Valley. Okay.
yeah, hang on, I'll tell you. I pulled it up. Um, they are playing. What does it not tell you anymore? Oh, they're playing in Clemson.
Oh, they're at Clemson, so they are doing a
Well, it
home game.
says Memorial Stadium, Clemson, South Carolina.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Hmm. Well,
Okay.
seeing that they're at Clemson, I'll take Clemson, but I think LSU gives them a lot. Uh,
Oh, yeah. I mean, who do you got between Notre Dame and Miami?
Notre Dame beats them by 3 touchdowns.
I love
I'm
it, man.
not on the Miami hype train. Sorry, I just
Yeah,
don't.
give
I
me.
don't know. And
I think Carson Beck's gonna get rocked, so I'm picking
yeah.
Notre Dame in that one. And then there was
All
one
right,
other
3 touchdowns
game.
might be a stretch, but Notre Dame
Eh.
wins.
What about
Um,
dark horse game that I'm gonna? It's not really a dark horse game, but it's a sneaky game for the ACC, and I would like to see them win this game. Syracuse at Tennessee, 12
I was going to
o'clock on
bring that one
Saturday.
up. Tennessee wins, but Syracuse keeps that one close.
Yeah, I think Syracuse could upset that one too, though.
Yeah,
Um, and then Alabama, Florida State. I think Alabama rolls by like two and three touchdowns.
more than that. Castellanos opening his mouth saying that they're going to beat them. Brother. Brother.
Brother.
Brother. No. No. Anyways, I'm going to get my full college weekend, football
Yep.
weekend started early. Shout out to our boy Ben. We're going down to Durham Thursday night. He needed a date to go to the Duke game. He convinced me to go. I'm going to regret every minute of it Friday at work, but starting that, and then Saturday, our big family get together. We're going to pull the screen out and do a little multi-screen on the old YouTube TV. As long as YouTube TV and Fox don't have a peeing contest between now and
Too late.
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday's the cutoff. We're kind of running out of days here. Um, I guarantee it'll be fixed by next week when the NFL starts. But this weekend, I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, so enough college football. This is
Oh, you
NASCAR I'm talking about.
didn't even ask me about UVA. I see how it is.
UVA and Coastal.
Yeah, UVA wins
Cody,
by
the
they win by
expectations
two.
you have for UVA this year. If y'all don't beat Coastal, buddy, just flush it down the toilet right there.
100%. That seat's already hot for Tony Elliott. But if they don't beat Coastal, it's going to be really hot. We beat Coastal
Y'all
at
beat Coastal.
Coastal
You'll be
by a
fine.
lot last year, but we beat
You'll
Coastal
be
by two
fine.
touchdowns.
You'll be fine. It's
And
Coastal. So.
quote me now, Chandler Morris, our quarterback. He's gonna average almost 300 yards a game of total offense this season, every game.
Chandler's not bad. I like Chandler.
I do too.
Not as much
Total
now,
offense, not
but
passing.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I think both teams in the Commonwealth here, you can see past them being okay, but you can also very strongly argue otherwise too.
Yep.
It's put up or shut up time for both coaches, so
Absolutely.
desperation can make some things change. Anyways, we're an hour and 2 minutes into it. We spent the last 7 talking college football. If you made it this far, we appreciate it. But happy to be back. Should be back next week. We got a lot. We'll have a lot to talk about next week because a lot's going to go down this week in the NASCAR world. So it's going to be interesting. But anyways, buddy, appreciate it. As always, everyone, appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next time.